Hello, sports ballers, and welcome to your one-stop shop for all things Tennessee Pro Sports. I'm a hoarse-voiced Dylan Simmons, joined by Katherine Gorbut and the returning Ryan Martinelich filling in for Grant Langston this week. Let's waste no time and get right into the action. Now, it's March, and you know what that means. It's time for chaos and to reign and brackets to bust as we begin March Madness 2024. More great storylines have been created from this season than from Stephen King's pen, and the chaos from conference tournaments will only intensify in the big dance. Ryan, there are so many questions to ask, but what does the bracket look like to you, and who do you think is making the Final Four?
So, we look at the bracket. Obviously, you're going to first look for the controversy, and I think a lot of people are shocked that St. John's was left out of the tournament. Top 30, according to KenPom, top 30 net ranking. The metrics speak for themselves that they probably should have gotten one of the last four in.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about Cinderellas, you could talk all day at these 6-11, 5-12 matchups. I'm looking at New Mexico and Clemson. And New Mexico, with how that bracket is set up, has plenty of potential, not only maybe to get to the Sweet 16, but even a Final Four.
Oh.
And I will definitely have that more in our hot takes.
Okay.
But Grand Canyon against St. Mary's, they have a great team with Gabe McLaughlin and Tyan Grant Foster, two strong 6'7" forwards who can score the ball. McNeese State against Gonzaga, another potential upset right there. Gonzaga is a healthy team. They got better after they beat Kentucky, but McNeese likes to put a lot of pressure on the ball. They look to stop Graham Ike. And Samford going up against an injury-prone Kansas team right now. If Hunter Dickinson and Kevin McCullough are out, Samford plays tough-nosed basketball, 10 steals a game, can put points up, 86 points per game. They'd like to play what's called bucky-ball, press all 40 minutes. That could be an interesting 13-4 matchup.
My top four for the bracket, I think it's going to be UConn, Baylor, Texas A&M, as well as James Madison.
Oh my goodness. Why James Madison? Why James Madison?
Well, I kind of think they fall in the Cinderella thing as well, but...
So they're your Cinderella team?
Yes.
Okay, interesting. Okay, here's what I'm going to say about the Final Four and the bracket as a whole. I do think that we're going to see it calm down just a little bit. Conference tournaments were insane. There were, how many one seeds lost? Ryan, do you remember how many?
I think they said the number was 16 one seeds by the, I think 16 or 17 one seeds by the entire... by Sunday had lost their respective tournaments. That's 32 tournaments.
Insane.
Over half the one seeds dropped.
Yeah. So you consider all the chaos from conference tournaments. I don't know if there will be as much this year, at least compared to the tournaments and last year's March Madness. I mean, we saw Purdue go down. We saw Arizona go down to Princeton. I don't know if we're going to see that again, but I do think we'll see some upsets here and there. I'll get more into that later as well. But for my Final Four, I'm going to go Illinois, North Carolina, Marquette, and Creighton. Now, it's a bit of an odd Final Four, I get that, but I do think that there's some legit contenders here. You got the defending Big Ten Conference Tournament champions. You've got North Carolina, a current #1 seed, Marquette and Creighton, two teams from the Big East, which I think is being really underrated this year. The Big East, they play championship basketball. We saw it last year with UConn, going in, beating a lot of teams that people didn't expect them to beat. I think the Big East is that conference, and I think that we're going to see it once again. I've actually got Marquette winning the entire national championship, which I know is a bit of a hot take, but I think that they are a legit team, and I like what I've seen from them. So this is going to be a heck of a year for March Madness, Ryan.
I'll make it quick. I think UConn is definitely a legitimate shot to repeat. First time since Florida back in 06 and 07. Donovan Clingan, Alex Caravan, Cam Spencer, elite athletes. Tristan Newton as well can do it all. I like Purdue. I think Zach Edey can get it done on the glass and offensively. And plus you got Lance Jones and Fletcher Lawyer. Kentucky, Rob Dillingham and Reed Shepherd coming off the bench, averaging 25, 30 points between the two of them. And like I said, New Mexico, I got them in the Final Four, beating UNC. I think they got a legit team in Nelly Jr. Joseph and Jamal Bashburn.
New Mexico in the Final Four, the Lobos. I mean, giving the Mountain West some love. I like it, though. But all right, guys, so the Nashville Predators, they've been hotter recently than a lot of other teams on the surface of the sun. And that is only part of it because they did not stop that in Seattle on Saturday. The Preds made the Kraken into a myth with a dominant 2-goal performance from Roman Josi and a .958 save percentage from Jussi Saros. Smashville is now 8-0-2 in their last 10 games. So are the Preds now a sleeper for Lord Stanley's Cup?
Lord Stanley's Cup. Where'd you come up with that? No. So, and not only in the last 10 games are they 8-0-2. Since they gave up 9 goals, I believe Dallas, they are, I think, 12-0-2. All right, so over a 14-game stretch, they have at least gotten 1 point towards the standings. Sitting atop the wild card. They are a legit team. They're one of the hottest teams, probably right next to my New York Rangers, if I had to say anything.
My gosh.
But no, they've done a great job with their changing the shifts, especially at the second and third lines. They are really working well. And of course, Soros, as you mentioned, has been tremendous at goaltender. Having a 92% save percentage, and over his last 5 games, I think has only given up on average like 0.75 goals.
Yeah, I think that sounds right. Yeah.
It's unbelievable. So.
The Predators have improved a lot this season. I remember in earlier episodes we were talking about like if they would even get to the playoffs, and I definitely do see them getting to playoffs and the championship even. I think they're on fire right now.
They're definitely in fuego. This is a team that really is carried by Soros in a lot of respects, like you mentioned. To me, this guy, he's an absolute brick wall. He's like Johnny Bravo when he tries to ask out a girl. He always forces a rejection every single time. This guy knows what's up and knows how to get the job done as the goalie. Now, when you take his otherworldly play and you add in Roman Josi, you add in Forsberg, you add in this offense, and what they do in the third period, it's like the third period they just go into attack mode and they play really good hockey, very solid. To me, this is a team that has the flow, the energy, and the chemistry to go far this season. And if you look at teams that got hot late in the year, they've been Stanley Cup contenders. Take into mind the 2019 St. Louis Blues. They were last in the NHL, last in the Western Conference, and they found a way late in the year to get hot. They ended up winning the Stanley Cup, beating the Boston Bruins in the process. I'm not saying the Preds are going to win the Stanley Cup, but I do think that they've got the potential to make some noise in the playoffs.
I want to caution here because I always feel like I've been let down by the Preds in the playoffs at times, especially the last couple of years. But it would be a nice change of scenery to see them back in it, because I think they can be a dominant team and certainly make a run for the Stanley Cup, or your Lord's Stanley Cup.
Lord Stanley Cup, yes. So he is the all-governing guy when it comes to the NHL and the Stanley Cup. Maybe the best overall playoffs in the entire sports spectrum, but that's another hot take for another day. But going to be fun to see how all of that plays out as well. And good luck to the Nashville Predators. Look out, Western Conference. The Predators have officially arrived. When we come back, Nashville SC is back in the dub column, and call AC/DC because the Grizzlies get thunderstruck by Oklahoma City.
Now shush, she makes the sound she makes to calm me down.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. But most people with hepatitis C don't know they're infected. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you could still have hepatitis C, a serious liver disease. People can live for decades without feeling sick, but over time, hepatitis C can cause serious health problems and even lead to liver cancer. Getting tested is the only way to know if you're infected. That's why the CDC recommends everyone born from 1945 to 65 get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments are available that can cure this disease, so talk to your doctor about getting tested. It could save your life.
Welcome back. Nashville SC met Charlotte FC on Saturday in a pivotal mid-March match. Both teams exploded out of the gate with 3 goals in the first half of play. The second half, though, was a different story, as a stalemate would allow Nashville to pick up a much-needed win after the Champions Cup. What was the difference for Nashville in this match, Ryan?
I don't know, Dylan, because I wasn't watching it on Apple TV. I just now noticed that's what it was on.
Yes.
I'll tell you this. I feel like we had a lot of discussions when I was here last season talking about Nashville SC, and they always seem to find ways to lose matches, especially on their side of the field, on their side of the pitch defensively. The big thing here right now is moving inside that 10 to 20 meter area. Can they find ways to assist each other and find open lanes on those passes you see right there, that little corner kick? That was a big pivotal moment right there in the game. Like I said, not knowing enough, I would say that this is at least a somewhat better team compared to last year. But I always have my doubts when it comes to anything Tennessee related. So.
Ooh.
I know they're a local fan favorite. I've seen a lot of people going to the games. They are back on track right now. I'm not sure how that momentum will stay, though.
Man, you guys are bagging hard on Nashville SC. Here's what I'll say. Watching this game back, I think that SC did need this victory, especially after the mauling in Miami against Lionel Messi and company. I mean, they got wrecked in Miami, so it was pretty bad. But the biggest problem with this team right now is they make games a lot closer than they should be. They have a huge problem finishing off opponents, and I've noticed it all season long. I think this was a tale of two halves. You got the first half, like I mentioned, 3 goals scored combined between these two teams. The second half was a shutout on both sides, a stalemate. And I do think it was good that Nashville was able to adjust to that style and make it work. But you've got to find a way to open up a gap against your opponent and don't let them have so many chances late, which I think there were a few too many chances late. Nashville's got to hold a lead. They can't be Lightning McQueen blowing a tire in the last lap and allowing Chick Hicks and the King to come from behind and potentially win the race. You can't do that. You've got to cross the start-finish line and get the job done. That's what Nashville SC needs to do, and we'll see if they can keep it going throughout the rest of the season.
Were you watching Cars last night? Is that where this is coming from?
Yeah, Cars is a goated movie, man.
As far as animated Pixar movies, I guess it's like top 3 maybe. I don't know.
Oh, top 3. It's number 1. Number 1. It is first. But anyway, guys, the Grizzlies, they battled hard in their own right on Saturday against the Oklahoma City Thunder, but they could not overcome the stacked star power possessed by OKC. Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams, and SGA all scored 20-plus points in this game, including pivotal baskets late to retake their spot atop the Western Conference. Ryan, what do Memphis in this game?
The start of the season. I mean, look, they never really got on the right foot, and Jaren Jackson can't do it all by himself. I mean, the guy is averaging 24 points, 7 rebounds a game, and he is pretty much that entire team's life force. So relying heavily on one guy alone. Now they kept it within 6 points, and to your credit, Shea and Chet, all those guys, they did put up double-digit figures. Yeah. And Chet is obviously going to be competing for Rookie of the Year. For the Thunder, of course, he'd probably end up losing to Victor Wembanyama. However, I think, once again, it just comes back to where are they on the glass? They don't really have that post presence that we're kind of used to seeing. But like I said, Jaren Jackson, he can't do it by himself. Someone around the perimeter has got to find ways to facilitate more so he can take it easy and not have to stress himself the entire season.
I agree with you there. It was a close game, but the Thunder, they have been having a good season. The Grizzlies really haven't been, so it's not surprising to me that Grizzlies didn't pull through for that win.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, the Thunder are the Thunder. They're the top seed in the West for a reason. Too much star power. Memphis just doesn't have the star power right now in their own right, and Ja Morant is desperately missed. This Memphis team, they've got a long way to go, and I think this is kind of a lost season for them. They're going to have to just reset, put this one in the back burner, and look forward to 2025 because this is just not working out. But anyway, guys, Memphis losing this season, it's more of a broken record than the Cowboys losing in January to the 49ers. But when we return, put your pan on the stove and turn up the iron because we are about to heat things up with our hot takes of the week. Don't go anywhere.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. Remember the best planned 90 minutes of your life? Or that surprise party for your parents' golden anniversary? You get the golden planning. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
You know you don't have to wear your PT gear anymore, right?
It's comfortable.
So how's civilian life treating you?
It's fine.
When I got out, I didn't want to admit that there was anything wrong because it felt like a failure. And then I realized, like, there's nothing to be ashamed of. So I started talking to someone. Maybe you are fine, but if you're not, it's okay.
Thank you.
If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping. And I can't let this happen to my kid. Of course, it's awkward to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping. Hey, bestie, how sketch is me? It's hard to get their attention. Ready? Go. Yes, look at that. You didn't even turn yours over. So if you want to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping, you have to get it trending. Right, Backpack Kid?
Let's do it.
First, invite your kid to do the vape talk. Let's try this. All right.
Why is he here?
Yeah, I gotta get it trending, honey.
Come on.
Let's go.
Oh, honey, can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
I see a lot of your friends vaping.
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have vaping.
Time to roast some marshmallows with our hot takes of the week. Ryan, what do you have for us?
So, controversy to popular opinion. UNC getting knocked out early in the first weekend. Losing to potential Michigan State or Mississippi State. I think UNC is vulnerable. First off, as a Tennessee fan, I've had to witness Mississippi State beat my Vols twice. One on the road and one in Nashville. They are dominant on the glass. Tolu Smith is very physical. He can out-rebound you. And he just works the offensive glass really well. Josh Hubbard, as a freshman, started off coming off the bench, but has done so well scoring, especially he's a three-point threat.
Yeah.
And Cameron Matthews and DJ Jeffries are just legit two-way players who are really great, especially on the defensive end, rolling out. Tyson Walker, Malik Hall, and A.J. Hogarth of Michigan State are elite scorers, but they can slow the game down. And if that's what you need to do to stop UNC is slow the game down so they're not out racing you. You can find ways to limit Armando Bacot download. DJ Burns did a great job of that in the ACC championship game. RJ Davis and Cormac Ryan, when healthy, are tremendous three-point threats. RJ Davis can facilitate like no one's business. I mean, he was ACC Player of the Year for a reason. And finding a way to limit Harrison Ingram on the three is going to be very pivotal for either Mississippi State or Michigan State. Like I said, if you can limit the tempo of North Carolina, and if you can get to the free throw line, like I said, Tolu Smith is very physical. Josh Hubbard loves to dribble and drive off the screens and fake his three. He can get to the free throw line. North Carolina gives up a lot of free throws. That's going to be very dangerous for them going against either Michigan State or Mississippi State, who love to play physical ball.
Man, I mean, that's high. Catherine, what are your thoughts on this? I'll let you go.
I mean, I am on the complete opposite end of the spectrum. I think they're a contender for the Final 14, definitely. I just don't see them getting beat out the first week. I see them at least like Sweet 16.
Sweet 16, man. I do think that they're a Final Four team. That's my opinion. But Catherine, what's your hot take?
My hot take is about F1. I know we keep talking about it this season, but okay, so Oliver Bierman, he is a rookie driver, and he got put on Ferrari to take over for Sainz, and he placed top, what was he, seventh contender in Saudi Arabia, and I truly think that if he is still here for the Australian Grand Prix, that he will be at least top 5. Man. I don't think podium. Unfortunately, Red Bull's kind of gatekeeping podium right now, but I think top 5.
Top 5. I mean, we know this guy is young. He's a rookie, right? So he's just coming in. Wasn't his first start in the last race in Saudi Arabia in Jeddah? So he's very, very young. He's got a lot to learn. Now, I'm not an F1 expert like you or Grant, but what I will say, as being a NASCAR fan of over a decade now, a rookie coming into a new situation, even if it is with a top-of-the-line team, they got a lot to learn and a lot to prove. this is going to be his second start, and he is in a good car. But I think there's a bit of a distance to go before he can get a top 5. What's the next race for F1?
The next race is the Australian Grand Prix.
Australian Grand Prix. Okay, right. So Australia is not the easiest track in the world to navigate. That's going to be a bit of a tricky course for him to deal with. And is he going to be able to find a way to beat some of the best drivers in the world again? He had a good first start, but that kind of pattern is hard to keep with consistency when you're a young guy. So this is going to be tricky for him. I'm leaning into experience gets the job done at the end of the day. I do think it will happen for him. I just don't think it's going to be in Australia. I think there's a bit more of a threshold that he needs to reach, but time will tell on that front. Ryan, do you have any thoughts on this?
I don't, and that's just because I think I do enough of my racing when I'm trying to avoid the cops on I-40. I will say this, knowing very little about racing, but at least watching, say, the 24-hour Le Mans, 12-hour Sebring, 24-hour Daytona, stuff like that. It does sound like a very interesting take, and you mentioned he's a rookie.
This was his first F1 race.
Yeah, so F1 race. So, and you mentioned obviously you don't see it often. So it's very impressive. I guess the question is, how long will it hold? If will it ever? Was this a fluke, or is there some talent really behind this? Because I mean, obviously with F1. Max Verstappen, how are you going to chase him or not? I doubt it, but it's a good start for a young kid like this.
He's definitely proven himself, and we now know how fast you go on the highway.
Oh,
My
yeah.
gracious. Put that on pay-per-view.
Shush.
Ryan Martinelich driving down the streets. Watch out, people. Anyway, time for my hot take. Now, Russell Wilson, folks, he will lead the Pittsburgh Steelers to the divisional round in 2025. I'm calling it right now. And I know I'm going to give you a moment to pick your jaw up off the floor. Put it back now and let me explain. Now, I know that Russell Wilson has been made a meme on this show and many other shows because people think, Russell Wilson, he's bad. He can't throw a football. He hasn't been relevant since 2018. Well, I'm here to tell you that that is not going to be the case in 2024 and 2025. Now, I've been critical of Russell Wilson in the past. I'll be the first to admit it. I saw him play a game so bad that I came on this very show in fall of 2022 with that man also across from me, and I said that this game was so bad between the Broncos and the Colts, and Russell Wilson played so bad that they should cancel Thursday Night Football. That's how bad that I thought that he played and the Broncos played. But last year, even if it was for a brief moment, we saw a twinkle of the old Russell Wilson, and that's what got me excited. Now, I know 26 touchdowns, 3,000 yards isn't the most electric of statistics, but I do think that he showed a lot more ability, a lot more capability with his throws, and there was something that was starting to develop. He was starting to get a little bit of that mojo back. And Chef Russ, he's going to be back cooking in a culture that knows how to utilize him. He is going to be cooking up a sirloin steak that not even Gordon Ramsay could be able to manage. Now, no longer is he going to be leaving the house and the oven on fire. It's not going to happen. No. He's going to figure this out in a new system, and he's not going to have Nathaniel Hackett and, frankly, in my opinion, an over-the-hill Sean Payton that can't really bring out the best in him. So I think that when you look at the Steelers, they have a great history with players like Tommy Maddox, Jerome Bettis, players who were thought to be done, bringing them back to a high level. So I think that this is going to be the moment where Russell Wilson reemerges into the elite tier.
Steelers country. Let's meld?
Let's meld.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, right? You mentioned the glimmer of hope for Steeler country that he could get with Russell Wilson. Obviously, you're going to get it because Justin Fields has said they're not going to compete for the job with. And we saw Kenny Pickett on the out because he also just does not want to compete.
Yes.
I think Mike Tomlin is an elite coach, and he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. My question and concern is, will you put the pieces around Wilson that he needs? And I think to start with, you need an offensive line that can block him. So that's my concern.
Television sets are still smoldering after that. But don't change that dial, because we've got to get the final stone for the Sportsballin Infinity Gauntlet. We'll have our picks of the week when we return on Sportsballin.
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
I tell my son, I love you every single day. I love you. Now, my dad has never said that to me. Not because he doesn't love me, but because culturally it wasn't comfortable for him. Now that he's a grandfather, he says, I love you to my son every time he sees him. My advice to all the fathers out there, forget the cultural restrictions. They grow up way too fast for you to waste even a single precious moment.
Bring it.
Time out, guys. I'm late to dinner. My mom's gonna kill me. Catch you guys later.
Mom wants us home. Okay. Bye, guys.
You guys need a ride?
Sure. Yeah.
All right. How about some one-on-one?
I gotta go eat, man. Sorry, I'll see you later.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible, she must be a key.
Welcome back to Sportsballin. It's now time for our picks of the week, and we'll start with the Nashville Predators versus the San Jose Sharks tonight at 7 p.m.
I think we're looking at Nashville real quick here, being one of the hotter teams in the NHL, going against San Jose. I do like the fact that, once again, we mentioned their second and third line shifts have done really well over these especially the last 10 games, only 2 overtime losses. I do want to say I think the Preds, being the hottest team, probably got to put the betting odds on them.
I agree with you there. I think the Preds are on fire right now, so I'm going to go with them for tonight.
San Jose has been a really bad team this year. I'm just going to say it. A really, really bad team. They have no bite in these Sharks, all right? So Nashville's going to take this win. They're in Fuego right now. They're playing with a confidence and a precision that is needed to make some playoff noise. Like I mentioned, they'll get the job done by a score of 5-2. That's my final prediction.
Very bold, very
now,
bold.
The Memphis Grizzlies take on the Golden State Warriors Wednesday at 9 p.m.
It's the Warriors. I don't know how you pick the Grizzlies anymore. It's like I said, if you can just shut down Jaren Jackson, it's over. The Warriors are playing too good right now in the West. I gotta say the Grizzlies are not giving me any confidence to pick them ever. So I gotta go with the Warriors.
I agree with you, Ryan. Not to bandwagon to hate on Memphis, but they just don't have the record. I'm gonna have to go with the Warriors.
Steph Curry's bucket squad is going to get the job done once again. The Golden State Warriors are going to run the Grizzlies out of the building. It's not even going to be close. They'll win by at least 25 points. Final prediction there. All right, Nashville SC takes on LAFC Saturday at 9:30.
Short and sweet. The ghost of Landon Donovan comes through LAFC, and they beat Nashville. I just have to say it.
Man.
Nashville is not on hot right now, not on fire, not on fuego. I have to say the LAFC as well.
LAFC wins in LA, not even a contest. Pretty good win for them is my final prediction. Well, as the band Semisonic once said, it's closing time. But don't worry, you can still catch new episodes of Sportsballin every week right here on Blue Raider Television. For Ryan Martinelich with his hands in his face and Katherine Gorbett, I'm Dylan Simmons saying so long, and remember to always have an electric night.